Radiant team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup. It's going to be 2 games from the European region for today. It's going to be a 4 Clovers doubleheader. So they have first their opponents in Kaipi, then their opponents in Goomba on Mikelorus. Going to be joined by MRP for these games. You ready to do this, dude? I'm excited to see 4 Clovers again.
Yeah, this should be a really close matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing Kaipi. So, first time to see 4CNL in this tournament at least, but a little more familiar with them. Kaipi, I've only seen them a couple of games thus far, pro games at least, with the new squad. So we'll see how the Mind of Bambo matches up against the Mind of Bone 7. Both of these a little bit unorthodox in their drafts. At least in the early phases will be a little bit more standard, but look for some niche picks to come out probably from both sides later on. Queen of Pain going to be that first pick from 4CNL, and this can be played by a litany of their heroes. Bambo, Pycat, and Equa, all pretty comfortable on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, at this point, with just that much star power on their team, pretty sure any given player, hell, in any of these teams can play the Queen of Pain. So, you know, there's that. Start yourself off in a nice generic start. Big question, though. Is it K or Kai? Is there an official pronunciation for
well,
the
KP
team?
is like the abbreviation, I think. But I mean, yeah, who knows? I
I'm just hoping like there wasn't some official one that I just completely missed. We'll just call them both because it's kind of mysterious.
I like Kaipi because you can say it like a Japanese sumo wrestler announcer. Kaipi!
Oh, Kaipi.
Yeah, very nice. So I think that, yeah, that's usually the way I've said it. I like that Bone 7 threw it back with his new team, Odes, to the one that they used to play. That team won me many rares back in the day, along with Empire when they were coming up.
Well, hopefully you didn't place any bets here because that wouldn't be good. You're supposed to be impartial. But 4 Clovers, they grab the Tusk after the Queen of Pain, again playing on the very generic side, very open-ended side, whereas for the Kaipi side, got Gyrocopter, a rather early pick with an Undying. So these are, I mean, Gyrocopter, a carry hero, yes, but he can get active super early, and Undying does want to be active early as well, so it looks like Kaipi are looking to bring the heat.
Yeah, and it looks like 4CNL have done their homework as well. Come With Me has played this 4-position Spirit Breaker pretty often for Kaipi, and queuing up the early aggression with that opening of the Gyro Undying, as you mentioned, it certainly warrants that Spirit Breaker ban as well. They do have heroes on 4CNL side who can deal with this early aggression, at least early on. I mean, you can defensively snowball through pretty much the duration of at least a Rocket Barrage, so that should be helpful to them. And the Night Stalker ban going to come out from 4CNL as well, so really trying to stifle Kaipi's ability to assemble this full-on early aggression lineup. But I feel like 4CNL are decently equipped to deal with it thus far. Queen of Pain, of course, has her escape mechanism, and Tusk should be able to delay things out, if nothing else.
Yeah, just preventing yourself from getting hit by like a call-down missile, like even just one is maybe going to be enough to get yourself out of there, maybe going to be enough to get your allies out of there. So Kaipi we really need to have some sort of primary stunner, like a Clockwork or something along those lines. But with an Undying already in the game, I prefer my Undyings to the off lane, and well, there's probably no room for a Clockwork from that position. But yeah, still going for those offensive initiators for Kaipi should be down the line, and really that's where Night Stalker and Spirit Breaker come into play. Like, those are the heroes that will start off that fight almost every single time with the Crippling Fear, with the charge in. You can't really do that much about that since you're just stunned or silenced. So these bands of 4 Clovers, of course, doing their homework because Kaipi have been playing this before, but also just like is the type of initiating hero that Kaipi really want.
Yeah, certainly so. Would synergize well with their lineup. Ember Spirit Band's a little curious to me. Broodmother certainly warranted up against Bambo, and in general against the 4CNL squad. I don't feel like Ember Spirit's really as strong as the pros are giving him credit for. Of course, at this high of a skill cap, any hero like Ember is going to be very useful to you. But with the Queen of Pain already on the field, it would have meant it would have been more than likely safe lane Ember Spirit. So, yeah, not a huge fan of that, especially against the early aggression. But either way, they remove that from the pool. Dazzle going to be picked up from Kaipi, and this is a hero that sometimes we see heavily prioritized and sometimes we see completely ignored. Dazzle's one of those finicky ones, and does combo up, of course, extremely well with the zombies from the Tombstone and the Shadow Wave there, and of course, just in general is alongside early aggression lineups. But AA going to be picked up against 4CNL for obvious reasons, up against a lot of the sustain from Kaipi.
Yeah, getting rid of that Undying heal, you can't gain health even if
10
you are
seconds
in
remaining.
Flesh Golem, going to be soul ripping yourself. Nope, nothing there. Dazzle, of course,
5
can't get his
seconds
heal out
remaining.
either. I would like to see 4 Clovers try to combo up with his Ancient Apparition just a little bit. Not really the best player with the Tusk, although Tusk can apply those Chilling Touch hits.
Team pick.
Getting some Cold Feet combo is definitely preferable if you can help it. For Kaipi, they're going to grab a Wind Ranger, so it seems like they're going to go into kind of this more mid-rangey strategy, not going full-on aggressive with the Undying. If they had access to the NS or Spirit Breaker, then I'm pretty sure they would have just gone for that. But Wind Ranger, Gyrocopter, both 2 heroes that can be okay with taking the game a little bit slower.
Yeah, indeed. I feel
10
like
seconds remaining.
this is almost a disappointment from Bone 7. It's such a stable draft. It's such a draft that really is kind of a jack of all trades. I mean, Wind Ranger, as you mentioned, is going to allow them to kind of scale throughout the game rather than having to put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak, towards that early to early mid game. Gyro, Wind Ranger certainly nothing to scoff at in the late game. So they do scale pretty well here. Wind Ranger more than often can win her lane without any support from her supports in the very least. So look for Cancel to do pretty well in that mid lane. But 4CNL going to try and secure an advantage with their Queen of Pain, picking up this Earthshaker early on. Does combo decently well with the Ice Blast with that long range initiation of the Fissure as it's released. But still, as you mentioned, there isn't a great setup for this Ice Blast just yet, and it seems like the Ice Blast is going to be kind of that linchpin for 4CNL's lineup in team fights. It feels like if they don't get that off, then they may not be able to overwhelm the sustain of Kaipi.
They have a lot of burst damage, but it's burst damage that may be difficult to actually land, and well, the Ice Blast is kind of going to mitigate that. They really do lack that like kind of Dark Seer type setup or Clockwork type setup that you would normally kind of want to have with this type of draft, and it seems like they're in a position where they're not really going to have that at all. As they're going to be looking for their primary carry heroes, and I don't think there are any carry heroes that actually are able to do that. That being said, however, whether it's Earthshaker in the offlane, Tusk in the offlane, Earthshaker with Ancient Apparition is a pretty good combo. You could land a couple of Chilling Touch hits, but more importantly, you get to wall people off so that Ancient Apparition and company can actually like get free hits and actively have a chance of landing that Cold Feet. Even if it's someone like an Undying who is kind of okay with just turning around and fighting, and it's a lot of damage to fight up against. So for 4 Clovers, they just need someone who is okay closing the distance and okay landing those hits afterwards. Like go all the way from Anti-Mage, Spectre, Luna, like the list of heroes that can do that is immense, but Kaipi,
wow,
they grab a Bat Rider as their last.
And just as I spoke about Bone 7 disappointing, he throws in a 5th pick Bat Rider. So looks like it should be a 4 position Undying unless they put this Bat straight off in the jungle. Which is probably less likely. Very interesting pickup from the Bat Rider here. Kind of seems like it was an anticipatory one, knowing that 4CNL are pretty comfortable playing this anti-mage. Bat Rider should deal pretty well with him, at least until he has Manta and becomes a little bit more elusive. So very interesting pick on the Bat Rider. I don't know really if it synergizes exactly well. I kind of honestly wanted to see a Disruptor here up against the Queen of Pain. Feel like Disruptor is so effective with aggressive lineups as opposed to being that defensively natured support. So Bat Rider feels a little greedy for me right now. Come With Me is the one to pick up that Undying, so it looks like it will be a core Bat Rider with the Undying in the support role.
I'm not really a fan of Bat Rider in this patch. I know you've been seeing a lot of play, but I'm just not sold just yet. I mean, Bat Rider used to be pretty hard countered by the likes of like Vengeful Spirit, Legion Commander. Even we used to see a little bit of Abaddon mixed in there, and there are no such hard counters on the 4 Clover side right now. But they have a Fissure, which is also like something that teams used to get to not counter the Bat Rider, but sort of mitigate his impact. Just throw a Fissure as soon as your buddy is getting lasted away, and well, at least they'll be a little bit closer, so you can have a chance of saving them. Tusk also not bad at that at all. Especially once he gets his Blink Dagger, just Blink Snowball, Blink Walrus Punch, slow down the Bat Rider. Like, the defensive tools for 4 Clovers, as far as dealing with a mid to late game Bat Rider, are there. And Bat Rider, I mean, the upside of grabbing an Anti-Mage, landing a nice Shackle Shot with a Focus Fire afterwards, yeah, it might just get you a couple of kills right off the bat, but more often than not, you would expect 4 Clovers to have something to say about that.
Interesting to see what the laning configuration is from Kaipi, if they actually leave Bone 7 to his lonesome or accompany him, but either way, yeah, I mean, Bone 7, super comfortable in the Bat Rider. Used to be one of the better players when that was a meta pick. But either way, for the side of Kaipi, they'll be playing over on the Dire Buffney, already getting to a little bit of a scrap with EGM. He's going to be playing up on the Dazzle. The rest of his lineup joining him from the east, Come With Me on the Undying. Jawa or Bisa going to be playing on the Gyrocopter. Bone 7 brought to you by Bone 7 on the Batrider and cancel mid laner on the Wind Ranger.
All right, now one from 4 Clovers. They pinged out the location of this Dire Observer. I'm not sure if that was like an accidental one or if they actually know that it's there, but either way, they're going to start rotating their lanes. $$, that's actually Bambo. He's going to be handling the off-lane Shaker. I see him playing this, I feel like, every single time. EGM is on the Ancient Apparition, got Nikwa on the Tusk. The Cat is on the Queen of Pain. That leaves LMAO, who we actually have no idea who he is because he didn't tell us, and his name history is not helpful at all. Like, it's just like random letters. He's on the Anti-Mage, so Anti-Mage is here as himself.
Yeah, I mean, 4CNL in general has been pretty interchangeable in that fifth player, I should say. And sometimes it's forced Nikwa into a support role, and sometimes Nikwa's still been playing a core. So it seems like the case is that LMAO is a little bit more comfortable in the core role for this one. But EGM going to be blocking up that mid lane for Cat. He should have a pretty good start in the Queen of Pain, but certainly cancel. Should be able to find his farm. Don't really expect mid lane to be exactly where we're going to find kills unless there's some heavy rotations throughout the early game.
Even with Undying coming in, you may throw a couple of decays over towards Cat, but he should not die from that. He's just going to be mildly annoyed. Really, level 3, level 4 is when kills become really possible, but this is something that the Undying can do, just running into the Queen of Pain's face and punching her in the head a couple times. Again, it's not going to be lethal damage, far from it, but running into EGM, now that's something that the Ancient Apparition really doesn't want to see. Undying doesn't have boots first, but he's just slightly faster, and look at that, 3 hits, already down 1/4 of his HP. Yeah, I don't really know how long the Ancient Apparition is going to stick around here. He's going to give Cat a little bit of help with the Chilling Touch, get those guaranteed last hits and denies, but yeah, I don't know. That Undying drive-by caused a lot of havoc.
Yeah, I feel like the Ancient Apparition needs to get to lane. 2 melee heroes now up against the Come With Me Undying on top of the Sticky Napalm from Bone 7. Seems a little bit scary for the Radiant side here. Flamebreak's going to go out top. 3 stacks of Sticky Napalm already on Nico. Decay is there as well. He's going to get low. A couple right clicks. Maybe enough to bring him down, but he is going to be able to run out of range just now and Come With Me. Bone 7 going to be backed off by the return of EGM's AA to lane.
I think Come With Me actually canceled an attack in the midst of that. I don't know if that would have been the difference, but still, this is a tri-lane versus Undying. That's never really what you want to have in that tri-lane scenario. He's taking a little bit of damage, sure, but he still has Tangos. He has that Mango for that extra bit of health regen, and if you land a 2-man decay, well, you're going to be able to get the instant burst kill on the Anti-Mage. Okay, I did not think that was going to be enough damage, but clearly neither did the Anti-Mage. Decay, Soul Rip, with what, probably the full units? Or 8 units out of it. It was a lot of damage.
A good wave, and not only that, he already had a decay stacked up on him. So, I mean, Anti-Mage base HP pool is pretty underwhelming, and having 2 decay stacks brought that Soul Rip with like 20% HP. Very nicely played by Come With Me. They're going to net an early kill on this AM, and so far it feels like the laning decision from Kaipi is a little bit better than it is for 4CNL. It doesn't even feel like they're going to get too much out of this solo safe laner in the Earthshaker. It's only got 3 CS thus far, 3 minutes in.
Well, Bambo's going to have a much better time than any given off-lane Shaker, but this top lane is just a disaster here for 4 Clovers. Like, usually the big counter to Batrider is the fact that he's going to constantly spam that Napalm. Oh, they're going to go in again for the Anti-Mage. So much damage. There's a Snowball back in towards Come With Me. Shard's going to catch him as well. He has stick charges. He has a Tombstone as well, but now loses all the mana. Bone 7 still trying to get the kill onto EGM with the Firefly. Will fall short. Will fly over the hill and we'll be just fine. A little bit of scrap this time going for Clover's way, but what I was going to say was that maybe a little bit of a lesser disaster now, but the Batrider's going to spam out that Napalm. You see the Magic Stick already in the Anti-Mage and Ancient Apparition. They're going to snowball back into Bone 7. It's not going to do a ton, as here comes the Tombstone, here comes the Decay. Soul Rip available. They'll try to heal the Tombstone, although it looks like that didn't hit. And now Bone 7 can take even more right clicks from Nico and EGM. Come With Me doing his best right now, only level 1 Decay, so it has a pretty large cooldown. Now Bone 7 caught in the shards. He's going to try to get a little bit of cover from the tower. 20 HP, he'll live. EGM in the meantime getting beaten down by the Undying the entire time. They slow down Nikwa just a touch with 1 stack of Napalm. There is another Decay. And Nikwa, I don't think he's going to die to that, although it's going to be really close. 4 HPs. Come With Me. He's going to charge in. He has boots. The Tusk does not. Batrider dies to the neutrals in the meantime, but Come With Me is going to grab the kill, then be on his way. I don't think they could actually kill him off. They have another Blink in 5, taking tower shots still, slowing him down a touch with those vortexes. Anti-Mage, Blink. He's going to guess wrong, but Come With Me walks right into it. And Undying is going to fall in the end. This tri-lane is an absolute mess for 4 Clovers, but it's entertaining as all hell.
Yeah, and I mean, essentially, it's going to work out regardless. Just the fact that the anti-mage is really going to be low on CS, even if he picks up a kill or two here or there. So I feel like they're more than happy to be trading this way for Kaipi's side. Bone7 finding some good experience, if nothing else. Already level 4, encroaching upon that level 5 mark. So I feel like it's still working out for the Dire side pretty well. Unfortunately, the decay expires there just before he popped his stick. For Come With Me, but he goes down, he gets a kill on the Tusk, and 2v3. They're still going to secure great farm for their Gyro and deny up a little bit of what Bambo is able to do early on.
Alright, so the point I was trying to make on this top lane until they kept on interrupting me with their rude fighting was the fact that Anti-Mage, Ancient Aberration, Tusk, I mean, Tusk doesn't even have Magic Stick, but these heroes aren't actually great heroes for Magic Stick. Like, you want to have some spammable skill. Like, if it was Wind Ranger up here, she would just be firing off power shots 24/7, and she's going to be very happy to do that. But what is Anti-Mage going to spam? Like, he only has Blink. I guess he'll always have the Blink, which is kind of nice, but for the most part, Magic Stick is just going to give him health. And Ancient Apparition really doesn't have anything that he's comfortable spamming either, because Chilling Touch's cooldown is so long. I guess you occasionally get some more Vortexes out, but kind of low impact skill when you don't really have that much follow-up with it. So, yeah, those sticks, not going to give them full value, which is going to mean that Batrider's largest weakness in lane is kind of mitigated naturally by his lane opponents. Pycat can take a Shackle over towards mid. Just a harassment Shackle, it seems. Cancel feeling pretty comfortable, but maybe he shouldn't because there's backup coming in right around the corner. Here comes a Snowball. Vortex is down. Pycat's going to jump right in. The shards don't hit. Shoves Cancel out. That was actually really weird. I think that the shards land there. Even with Dazzle coming in, they get the kill. Yeah,
probably some sort of interaction with the phase movement. Or with the win run movement, but either way, good reaction there from Cancel. Keep himself safe and force a rotation over. And now LMAO having to play a little bit safe over in that top lane. Come With Me for now is going to rotate out of the lane though. Looking to secure this 6-minute rune. Looks like Pycat will be able to get there in time though on the Queen of Pain and turn him back towards top.
So they're going to swap out the Shaker from the bottom lane and bring in, oh, Pycat actually focus fired in. However, here comes Nikwa. Pycat's still taking a lot of damage, doesn't have any more burst. Power shot through will kill off the Queen of Pain. Nikwa, no mana for shards, even though, again, that wouldn't have made the difference. Kaipi bring in pretty much everyone there to defend. And the end result is going to be they get the kill on the Queen of Pain, they don't lose the Wind Ranger, and you can't really be too upset about that. So Kaipi getting another pretty big win over in the middle lane. But now Ancient Apparition, he's going to be pretty happy to get those levels on this bottom lane, but Jawa's still farming it up. Like, he's pretty much going up against no lane opponents here in this bottom lane, and letting a Gyrocopter free farm is not exactly the best plan here for 4 Clovers.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like, especially in that off-lane position, he's getting a little bit too much. And kudos to Kaipi early on for choosing this laning configuration, knowing that I mean, Earthshaker is not going to roam around being in Bambo's hands, and that the Tusk AA can be scary, but, I mean, 3 heroes in close proximity, 2 of them being melee, against an Undying is always a good situation for you. So, even Cancel has found quite a bit mid lane. 25 CS, 12 denies, pretty much exactly at equilibrium with Pycat thus far. So, early rotation from EGM helping him out just a slight bit, but some really good defensive plays, if nothing else, in this mid lane, and a great Shackle shot in that last engagement.
I think I'm just like really surprised that they're deciding to leave this anti-mage up here. I mean, yeah, top lane is going to be the hardest place to get experience, but you really want to have your anti-mage try to slum it on the top lane when you can be, at least trying to get some farm and at least apply some pressure onto the Gyrocopter on the bottom lane. Like, anti-mage, Ancient Apparition add a Tusk to that, and Gyrocopter, as powerful as he is, really has to watch himself in this bottom lane. He might even be forced to leave the lane at that point, so anti-mage is getting some farm now that it's just the Undying up here, but not really the farm that he really wants to find. He really wants a lot more. Bone7, level 7 already, has yet to actually grab that lasso, which is definitely an interesting choice, but this is a better farming build, I suppose. He can clear out a couple of stacks, and he's actually not too far away from his blink.
Yeah, he should have it around the 11-minute mark. Farming up a couple of these stacks, and it gives Come With Me some time. Speaking of Come With Me, top lane's going to catch a Fisher. We'll get the Decay off. Gets the Soul up as well. Rainbow TP is going to come through Dazzle as well as the Gyro. And Bisa looking for someone with the call down. Doesn't want to go for the anti-mage, of course. He's got the blink, but first missile at least will land onto Bambo. Will be able to close the distance. Non-phase boots on cooldown. So he's going to have to back off there. LMAO still in a little bit of a risky position, but has that blink available as well as a TP. So he's going to man up a bit. Fisher is there. We'll keep Bisa at bay. Come With Me around the corner is a little bit low. Does have that Mango available. Mid lane, no skirmish. Shallow Grave is going to be there onto Cancel, and the Shadow Wave will keep him up. The lasso keeps Pycat at bay. and they're able to turn it there. Buffy with some nice plays. Wind Run just out of this range of the shards. Level 2 shards wouldn't have killed him off, I don't feel, but would have been close regardless before that bottle charge started ticking away. So.
And Pycat is just always on the receiving end of what almost seems like bad luck, but he's just like not with enough damage inherently to go in for those kills. Like, he dumped everything he had into that Wind Ranger, but the fact that Dazzle was there with the Grave with the level 3 heal, and he just can't get kills super easily. Wind Ranger now 101, isn't, on top of the net worth chart, but she is very close there on the, just on the tails of her gyrocopter friendly, and that's pretty much where you want to be as the Wind Ranger. Most likely just going to be a straight Ags rush from here on out, and Pycat slowed down substantially after failing a couple kills. He's going to go hunting for the Bat Rider, but it's forced away by Cancel. The Ice Blast did land on the Bat, and he will be fine, though. He's going to clear this out, grab his Blink Dagger, so now is when Bone 7 actually becomes a real threat.
Yeah, it was actually shot just a little bit too far. He didn't get hit by the impact, and if he did, he probably would have died there, but either way, good game sense from EGM, knowing that Bone 7's been off the map for a little bit. Should be farming up that jungle, and really, Kaipi's kind of been able to get everything they want for all of their heroes thus far. I mean, even the Dazzle is sitting on level 5 right now, and overall, that is at least at par with the Tusk. And considering that the Undying's given a little space in lane, the Bat Rider's been able to jungle, and the Gyrocopter, as you've alluded to, has been able to free farm bottom. Feels like Kaipi are postured up for a really good mid-game. Speaking of which, moving towards that bot lane, double damage rune pop by Cancel. Just a couple right clicks should kill off EGM here. And he will have to expend the Shackle to kill him off, but it's a pretty clean pick. I mean, they don't really expend anything for that. So, bot lane, Dazzle, and the Undying. Some good synergy there. We'll be able to put some pressure onto this tier 1. Back out Nikwa for now. He's here alongside LMAO, so it looks like they've finally heeded your word and switched up these lanes, but it could be a little bit too little too late. 11 minutes in. I mean, the laning stage has, for all intents and purposes, broken down. But top lane, Lasso is going to be caught out onto Bambo. Call downs there, Rocket Barrage as well. They bring down that Earthshaker for the first time in this one. And as soon as he shows his face in the other lane, Bambo in a world of hurt.
And this is one of the most pure tempo heroes in every sense of the word. Just every single time you have that lasso, you want to be going for that gank, and Bambo is still a pretty easy target. It's a level 7 Shaker, which isn't terrible at this stage in the game, but versus the Gyrocopter, there's just no contest there at all. So yeah, this Bat Rider is going to be on the very heavy tempo-based game, and really there is no one safe from 4 Clovers, at least right now when they're still all very spread apart. The responses and the Fissure or the Snowball, odds are it's just not going to be there in time because the Earthshaker and Tusk won't just be in the correct position. Because, well, they're just not going to be grouping up. That's not really what they want to do. They just want to get farm in the Anti-Mage, try to protect him as best they can. So yeah, going for a lasso on the Anti-Mage, though it seems attractive for Kaipi. Probably going to be running into the most problems there, but anyone else, that's a viable kill target. Over towards the mid lane, we got Smoke Up, Tusk, Shaker, and they're going to be looking for this Wind Ranger, but I don't really think these two, in and of themselves, have enough to get these kills. Even on the Dazzle, like, it's going to be close. They'll have to probably expend Echo Slam or land a good Fissure Wall or something, but seeming like there's a little bit of they don't really know where they're going. They're going to eventually camp in mid lane, but Kaipi, they smell something.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're the Dazzle and you get fissured and they snowball up together, you instantly grave, anticipating the Echo Slam. So maybe they kill off the Dazzle, but I don't feel like they do so right away. They are going to go for it mid lane. Buffy well positioned as he has been for the last couple of minutes. The Ice Blast is going to come through, though, and that may be able to secure this. No, it's going to whiff just south of Cancel, so good game sense from Cancel. He's going to pop his invisibility rune, sensing that something is amiss over in the Dire jungle, and in a timely manner, the Radiant will walk over towards the safe lane, but he still will run into him here. TPs are into the tier 2 with the lasso ready and the Blink Dagger, of course, from Bone 7, so this could be disastrous, really.
There are sentries, though. Cancel is going to be walking, thinking he's invis, but he's really not. Blink in, into a snowball. Bone 7 can't get the lasso off in time. Now the Sonic Wave will blow him up immediately. They drop the Tombstone, which is going to do some serious work. Nice shackle shot from the background as Jawa's going to turn on the Black Cannon and just let loose. Cancel's still alive right now. He may shatter in the end, especially with the Mana Void. That'll be a 2 for 4, however, as Jawa with the Black Cannon shots doing way too much damage, plus the Tombstone not dying in the end. Kaipi absolutely demolished 4 Clovers on this top lane, even after a completely botched initiation there from the Bat Rider. That's the disastrous initiation. That's not what you want to see from your Bat. They make it happen regardless.
Yeah, so Anti-Mage does survive again, but arguably at this point in the game, and you were mentioning them dealing with kind of the issue of the Anti-Mage, arguably at this point in the game, keeping the Earthshaker down is more important. I mean, you mentioned it, they're going to need to create space for LMAO as he really didn't have a good laning stage or farming phase in the game, but He has no Battle Fury and really is nowhere near it at this point, so I don't feel like they quite yet have to deal with him. And as long as they keep this Earthshaker blink down, which it has been delayed heavily at this point, 14 minutes and only 750 gold on Bambo, they're in good shape. They still have the lasso available, and look for them to make quick use of it here. Bone 7 already looking to invade the Radiant jungle. It's just going to do a bit of farming for now, but may find someone to catch out as well.
Four Clovers definitely still have this pick-off power just with the Fissure, add the Tusk, add the Queen of Pain, and usually that should be enough damage. I mean, we just saw it killing off the Bat Rider, but staying in close proximity to a Gyrocopter with Undying and the Tombstone being up as well, like those are bad things for the Four Clovers side at any stage of the game. I mean, they have to kind of look for these pickoffs, right? Like, Anti-Mage needs so much more space to get these double swords up for that Battle Fury, and you will find a little bit of farm on the bottom lane, but Anti-Mage needs farm, Earthshaker needs his farm, Queen of Pain looks like she's going to go for an Orchid, and that's a pretty expensive item given the amount of gold, or really lack thereof, that she's been getting in this game. Tower in the top lane will be denied by Queen of Pain, so I guess that's something for the Four Clovers side, but still they have to be very wary about where they're positioned on the map, such as over towards mid, where Nikwa gonna get grabbed immediately. His focus fire tethered to a tree now, and he's not going anywhere. Power shot through. He's actually gonna survive for a little while longer, just because he is a little bit tankier. Cancel kind of not focusing the fire as hard as she could have, but still it's a Tusk to fall, and Wind Ranger getting that much closer to her Aghanim's now is, well, just needs 2 more parts. These are not hers in the courier.
Yeah, so things looking really good still for the Radiant side. Regen Rune going to be popped by Cancel as well. And yeah, in that top engagement, you mentioned the Gyro and close proximity. I think he did, at least the first missile hit a 4-man call down, and everyone was near the outer radius, so most of them able to escape. But whenever that happens, it's going to bode well for you in the team fights. I haven't spoke about the Undying's item progression much, and he doesn't have too much in the way of item progression, but he's going to pick up a Glimmer Cape pretty soon here, and that could be real nice early on.
He's going to dodge the Ice Blast, dodge the Fissure as well, get down to the low ground. Mana Void will be absorbed by the Grave, and he's going to get out of there. Come with me now, though he's in a little bit of trouble. We'll drop the Tombstone immediately. It's going to start being focused down. However, with the Soul Rip, it's going to take them a hell of a long time. They're taking damage all the while. Cancel's going to come in, wants the Courier first, will not get it, decides for EGM instead, and should be able to get at the very least kill off this Ancient Apparition. In the meantime, LMAO got hit with the missile, actually. He's going to get forced out, though he should not die here. Do Kaipi want to dive? That'll be the over-aggressive play. Oh, Nikwa's here for some reason. I don't know why he's here. He shouldn't be here. Jumping for Pycat. Will kill off Bone 7, but now he doesn't actually have anything else to blink out of here. Cancel looking for a Shackle Shot angle in 5 seconds. Pycat has a missile chasing after him, so even if he does get a blink out, I don't think it's going to save him. Has a TP out. Power Shot will be slightly off the mark. Sorp not going to do it. He will live. Wow, that was extremely narrow from the Queen of Pain, but even after getting that Bat Rider kill, it's still a 2-for-1 in favor of Kaipi, and they might just be able to kill up this tower after.
Yeah, Cancel a little bit anxious, I feel, with that power shot. Just waits a quick moment. It's daytime. They get around the trees. They probably see where he is. I think he lands that, but tries to fire it blindly from behind the tree line and ends up failing there. Pycat able to get a pick, but, I mean, it still shows the potency of this Kaipi lineup, I think, overall. Shows kind of the reason that they're not too worried about this Anti-Mage at this point. I mean, they're able to keep up Bone 7, and really no one dies for the entirety of the engagement until the very end when Pycat comes through and uses the ultimate. So still looking good for the Dire side overall. Bone 7 stalking once again, does have the lasso and the blink available. 2 heroes behind him, and Come With Me's Undying alongside Buff's Niece. Dazzle and the Glimmer Cape is now available as well, so if it was hard to kill off these heroes beforehand with their toolkit and no blink on the Earthshaker, it's going to be even harder with that Glimmer Cape up. So Battle Fury is to come out soon, though, and Orchid a little bit further off for Pycat, but will come out at some point. So still a game not completely out of reach for Force, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, though, this Glimmer Cape is actually a pretty fast pickup on the Undying. Like, given his net worth, you'd expect an item of this caliber, you know, Glimmer Cape or Mechanism or something along those lines, but the vast majority of Four Clovers' damage output at this point is magical. Like, yeah, there's pure damage in the Sonic Wave. Eventually, Anti-Mage is going to do some physical, but right now, just having an Undying who's just very happy just with the innate spell resistance that the Glimmer Cape gives is going to be really hard to dislodge. Not to mention the fact that you could also Glimmer yourself or an ally for even more magic resist. So if he's going to Glimmer the Bat Rider, that's an easier initiation in there, guaranteed to not be spotted, or just sit in the front lines and absorb all those spells. And Four Clovers really do not want to be focusing down the Undying if they can help it, and they probably, even if they were to focus him down, wouldn't be able to get the kill anyway because he just wouldn't take any damage. It's just a very tanky build right now for the Undying versus the magic-heavy lineup of Four Clovers. KP, though, they're going to smoke up and head down towards bottom lane. They're a little bit late, though. Cancel's already initiated upon. He's getting with the Ice Blast. Snowball's coming in as well, but it will not connect. Cancel does have Boopney right behind him. Grave is there, but, oh, Bambo. Right on top of the Dazzle will try to slow him down. Will end up killing off the Dazzle in the end. Cancel, though, has a Shadow Strike on him and should tick down to it. Although getting bottled up, will survive as he does find his way through the trees. Power Shot through is going to get him a kill. Now they have Bambo stuck in a corner with zombies there. I don't know why he can't move. Seems like Fissure blocked him in. That's going to be a 3-for-1. With Jawa claiming a couple of those kills, Kaipi coming in just in the nick of time. Now, granted, that was a fight without the anti-mage, so 4 Clovers, I guess, not at their full strength, but they're also going to lose a tower, and, man, 6-0-3, this Gyrocopter always coming in just in the nick of time.
These Graves have been absolutely incredible as well from Buffney, keeping Cancel up. Good game sense from Cancel. He's taking down that tier 1, sees no one on the map, throws a power shot into the jungle, and that's able to at least get him back far enough for his teammates to be able to encroach upon the engagement as well. So really nice play from Cancel and the Dazzle. Their top lane, Bone 7 in a bit of trouble. Mana Void was off of cooldown, but needed just one more hit, perhaps, to make that a fatal blow. So we'll have to back off. And it definitely seems like now they need to start dealing with LMAO. You could say space created bottom lane, but still Kaipi taking favorable engagements. And for now, Bisa is going to be comfortably atop the net worth and even has a stack here of Ancients to start to farm up and keep up with this Anti-Mage's accelerated farm with that Battle Fury.
Man, the Cancel surviving there hurts 4 Clovers so much, because now Wind Ranger actually has the completed Aghanim Scepter. 20 minutes in is around par for the course for a Wind Ranger. But just being able to get that focus fire on a lasso target, not even a shackle shot target, or going for Roshan just as good. I mean, they just saw the ice miss over in mid lane, so they know that they're not going to be scouted by an Ancient Apparition right now. They should be able to clear this one out really rapidly, and Bone 7 does have the freedom of initiation right now. The Observer coverage is immense here from the Dire. They even have a random range creep as an Observer ward, so I guess promotion, demotion, not really sure what that is, but the Sigil's going to fly in. It's going to see everyone, so now 4 Clovers should know that Roshan is being cleared out, but Ice is going to come in, land onto Cancel probably. That's nice, but they need a Blink Dagger, Echo Slam now if they're going to do it. Well, I guess a couple seconds ago. Even if that was to happen, no, probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I mean, Bambo just picking up the Blink Dagger now, 20 minutes in, is not bad if you're a supporter, Shaker, but given this solo safe lane, you probably wanted it a little bit quicker, and certainly good on IP to keep their focus on him. Brought him down 3 times thus far in this one, but it's going to start to get a little bit dicey, I feel, for the Dire. They're not going to be heavily as in control of this one as they were a little bit while ago. A just gives them a nice window to start to pressure and bring down some of these structures, though. So we'll see if they're able to take advantage of that.
Most likely it's just going to be over towards the mid tier 1, something that 4 Clovers are not going to be super eager to defend, but going for the tier 2s, definitely something that they can do. Hell, they can split push tier 2s. Cancel's already starting to get in on that action as he's just shoving the bottom lane a little bit, maybe setting up for, clearing out mid, then sliding down bottom, clearing out that one as well. Focus Fire level 2 at this point versus towers will just be a wrecking ball. And look at that, we're going to get an example. Rest in peace tower. It's fortifiable and will be used, but they really need initiation here from someone. And well, 2 heroes on the top lane. Looks like they're just going to concede this tower. Cancel. He's just going to do this by himself.
Yeah.
LMAOs, he's clearing up top lane along with PyCap, but putting pretty much no damage into this tower.
Yeah, perfect usage of the Aegis there from Kaipi, baiting out Cancel in an essence, leaving him as the battering ram, knowing he can bring down that structure by himself, daring for CNL to initiate on him, and he even throws out that power shot to cancel any blinks coming in. So pretty much a free tier 1. Overall, they still have 4+ minutes on that Aegis as well, so able to at least stymie this split push happening top lane, and probably will assemble up soon and look to find a little bit more just in that low-hanging fruit in that mid lane tier 1.
Set up for Jawa. They had the Blink Echo Slam. I think they're going to have to use it if they want to kill off this Gyro. What they don't know is that everyone from KP is right around the corner, and they see them. EGM's immediately going to get jumped. Lasso down as well. Not much damage taken thus far. He does get the Ice Blast out, but it's way off point. This Ancient Apparition should be chased down by Bone 7. Now Come With Me going to jump right in, land the Tombstone in the middle of the fight, force everyone to leave. I don't know where the snowball is going, but it doesn't seem like Pico is going to get away. He Walrus punches a creep. That's not going to help him. He's going to get buzzed down, and now Bambo stuck in the corner. Blink Dagger up in 1 second. He's going to get into the trees. Flame Break, though, is going to bump him out of it. They know pretty much where he is, and they find him, shackle him to a tree to prevent any Fissure shenanigans. And it's going to be a 3-0. Kaipi having a pretty good read on 4 Clovers there. I mean, that was just children's books, pure and simple. They knew that 4 Clovers were going to be there. Observer Ward sure as hell helped, but they kind of were luring 4 Clovers in with the Gyrocopter as bait. And Gyrocopter
I think they just placed that ward as well. So not sure if they had it previous to the fight, but yeah, as you mentioned, really just reading them well. Bot lane, Pycat will be able to bring down Bisa, and that's a huge streak actually going the Queen of Pain's way. So really a kill that you don't want to feed over, but yeah, top lane, Bone Chen with the lovely flame break, and they get a really good engagement. This is not a kill they want to feed, though, on the Pycat on the back end of that. He picks up the Orchid and now has all of a sudden 2,200 gold. Will get shackled up, but he's going to be able to Orchid cancel after the focus fire, so no power shot available. Pycat should be able to blink back to safety.
Yeah, Gyrocopter just got popped way too quickly there. I mean, after all said and done, LMAO has recovered quite well. Like, he's neck and neck with the Gyrocopter at this point. Battle Fury will just do that for you as an anti-mage, and he should have another item. It's Yasha. Yeah, Yasha is on the courier right now, so this anti-mage is power farming pretty hard. And even though Kaipi have been getting these pickoffs, they still have a golden experience advantage. The anti-mage, oh, well, okay, they're going to get a kill on Tusk. That's certainly going to help their cause. Anti-mage is a problem that Kaipi really do have to address sooner or later, because in all these fights, everyone from 4 Clovers has died except for the anti-mage. He's always been like not in those fights and therefore not in any trouble. Ice Blast is going to just not be unleashed on the bottom lane. Come with me now, sees LMAO. He's going to glimmer himself out of there. Not really sure what's been going on with EGM's Ice Blast. It seems kind of a mediocre display from him, but still Kaipi. Oh, they're going to throw a shackle. That's going to land very far away, however, so anti-mage should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it was okay for the first 15 minutes of the game for them to kind of ignore the fact that the anti-mage was surviving, but for the last 10 minutes, I feel like they needed to put a little bit more focus on him. They've still taken favorable engagements, but still don't feel like he's quite fight ready, and in that sense, with this age is still up for, it's about to expire in 40 seconds or so, but in that sense, I feel like they needed to pressure a little bit more under this timing window, this 5 minutes. Bone 7, though, bot lane's going to be caught out, and he's going to be picked off there. Nice Fisher, blink forward from Bambo is going to net them that kill, and that's going to further delay out Kaipi's ability to pressure the map, and it feels like this one is kind of slipping away slowly if they don't find anything significant soon.
I mean, they have this power of the Gyrocopter and the Wind Ranger, but as far as grouping up and using that power, Kaipi haven't been able to get that to come together just yet. And 4 Clovers are really happy about that. Like, the longer that they could delay out this game and get anti-mage back up to fit fighting shape, the better chances they'll have. And even Pycat, who has had a really bad early game start, now has the Orchid, now has another 3,400 gold in the bank. And he's 3rd place in net worth, slightly above the Wind Ranger, which, given Wind Ranger's score, is something that I just am not... I'm like, how did that happen? How does the Queen of Pain actually have more net worth than that Wind Ranger? But, yeah, 4-4 and nil. The Queen of Pain is packing on to some serious damage right now, and well, Orchid maybe going to be assisted with the Aghanim Sonic Wave and just a little bit of gold. Who knows? Pycat is going to be able to do some serious damage.
Yeah, I don't know how great the Orchid really was here. It's of course nice against the Dazzle, but in general, I feel like Aghanim's Rush might have been more effective and now could build into something to help out against the right clicks like a Shiva's, but either way, it's actually going to build a BKB for now. Simultaneous BKB is going to come out for the Queen of Pain and Gyro, and yeah, the net worth disparity there, pretty much all by virtue of that Bisa kill bot lane. 1,200 plus gold going to the Queen of Pain in 1 kill. Certainly helps your cause, so a little bit unfortunate. Cancel has been super active across the map, but really hasn't found any time to farm, so kind of understandable there. Does pick up a Blink Dagger recently, though, before they picked off the Tusk by the Radiant side shop, so... or secret shop, I should say. So they are going to smoke up and look to now finally apply some pressure with this lasso available. Force Staff and Blink Dagger available to Bone 7. He's going to build into that BKB fairly soon as well. And they could at least find a courier, if nothing else. Cancel going to run into that. Not going to look to find it. Still going to look to find an engagement here. Bot lane. They are going to catch the Kiro they exactly want to. That's LMAO, but the lasso is not really going to bring him in range of anyone just yet. Jump forward. Echo Slam. BKB was popped by Bisa, though. Sonic Wave onto 3. Glimmer Cape going to keep cancel safe. He's got the Grave as well. They turn it. They'll bring down the Tusk on top of the aim and Bambo. 3-0 thus far, and Buffney has been way too well positioned in these engagements as the Dazzle for anyone to drop on Kaipi, and a great engagement from them. Bones having to get there with the lasso, and 3.5 second duration was enough for him to get the follow through from his teammates.
That was a decisive, immediate win there from Kaipi. Even after, 2-man Echo Slam and with the Sonic Wave over the top, that's about all of that went right there from 4 Clovers. Anti-Mage starting that fight off with like 1/3 of his HP, can't fight, and even if he were to get into a fight right now, he's not really super comfortable with doing that. So Kaipi just walk in, grab a couple of kills, and for Clovers, I mean, they had a pretty good response considering the situation that they were in, getting initiated upon and such, but just was not good enough, and that's really where the farm on cancel and the positioning from Buffney has been on point from really since the beginning of this game. This Queen of Pain having gone for a BKB, I actually don't think that this is a good build on Queen of Pain in this game at all. Like, you already mentioned, like, Orchid kind of in this game, but Black King Bar, like, doesn't actually prevent any disables, and that's really what you want to be doing as Queen of Pain, using BKB to keep yourself right-clicking in these fights and casting those spells. It only mitigates damage, and it's not even that much damage. Like, Batrider, Power Shot, Gyrocopter, it's like, whatever.
Yeah. There's still Flat Cannon, there's still Focus Fire, there's still Lasso, there's still Tombstone. So pretty much everything I just mentioned there is all the strongest team fight abilities other than Call Down on the Dire side. So BKB, yeah, feels like a little bit underwhelming in this one, as does the Orchid. But yeah, I mean, Buffney's been really, really key in all of these engagements, and he's gonna pick up a Solar Crest on the Dazzle. Doesn't feel like he's died in a long time. Yeah, only one death as well on the Dazzle, which is crazy. For you being a Dazzle who often has to sacrifice himself for his cores. So really they haven't addressed that enough on the Radiant side. And one thing real interesting to me is that they don't push high ground there. Echo Slam was down. Sonic Wave was down. They know there was no Aghanims on the Queen of Pain just yet. And yeah, you don't have your BKB on your Gyrocopter, but they still had Tombstone up at the time. And they didn't have Lasso, but I feel like they easily could have dropped a Tombstone and at least took down the tier 3 without Echo Slam, Ice Blast, and the Sonic Wave up.
I mean, Kaipi do have some pretty decent late game as long as they can keep getting their initiations up. So again, playing slowly for the Dire, not exactly going to hurt them, but it does put themselves at more risk of this anti-mage. Seems like they're just confident that they'll be able to handle him, and they have been handling him decently so far, so I can't really blame them for that. They are also going to see the Roshan immediately with the Alpha Wolf, which is grabbed by Jawa earlier. So yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't pressure a little bit more as well. They get a tower out of it, which is fine, but you would expect a little bit more. They're going to go straight to the Roche Pit right now. EGM Ice Blast. It's in 5 seconds, so we should get a read on this, but no one really is in position. Like, top lane, Bambo and Pycat, they were looking for Cancel on the top lane, but Cancel had backup there with Bone 7. So going for that Wind Ranger, not exactly super easy, especially Wind Ranger with BKB. And Ice Blast is going to see everyone, but again, it's not really going to do a lot. In fact, with Buffney in the area, most likely this is just all the damage is going to be mitigated once the Shadow Waves start flying. So now is a time where Kaipi, if they take a great team fight, even if they don't, should be busting up high ground.
Yeah, certainly so. This will give them a nice window to start to pressure the map. And probably just look for the split push from Pycat and LMAO here. He has the Manta available, and of course Pycat has that innate escape tool in Blink as well. So they should probably just try and pressure some other towers. I mean, there's still 2 tier 1s up for the Dire side though at this point. So it's going to be a tall order to fulfill for the Radiant side. Icebot's going to go out top lane looking for someone defending that tier 2. Not going to find anyone just yet, but Bone 7 stalking. He's going to have to blink back for now to safety. A little bit worried about jumping forward into Pycat. Buffney's going to run into LMAO briefly. It's going to force him to blink out to the west. But Kaipi well aware of this right now. And it's just going to use, for now, Visa to push out that bot lane. No Boots of Travel on either the Wind Ranger or the Batrider. So they have delayed out their push for now, at least, by pushing out this top lane. But they do have that full 5-minute window.
They definitely do want to get this pick off. Otherwise, they would be actively on the bottom lane pushing by now. But just hoping for someone to show their face in the top lane. Not quite going to happen. They do see EGM on the bottom lane. But I don't really know what the plan is here for the Undying Gyrocopter. They're just going to sit there and wait. They don't have like a Blink Dagger or anything like that. So getting on top of EGM is actually pretty difficult. They see the Anti-Mage now. Equally difficult to get on top of him. It seems like these aren't the heroes that you want to have in a gank party like this. Replace the Gyrocopter with the Wind Ranger and I'm on board, but the Wind Ranger has her task cut out for her up on the top lane, it seems, or the top half of the map. Still, the split push is here for Clovers, so they're going to try their best to delay it. Bambo getting way deep behind this tier 2. They don't see Buffney yet, I don't think. Well, they probably do. Yeah, they definitely do at this point. But they don't know who else is there right behind that Dazzle. If they go in right now, they get a free kill, but they just don't know it. Ice Blast is going to be launched, but tower to fall for 4 Clovers, and they haven't lost anything to this Aegis just yet. Kaipi maybe playing this a little bit too slow with this Aegis.
Yeah, I feel the same. Buffney can TP over to that tier 1 bot lane, so not really sure why he's even present top lane. I mean, what really are you going to defend as a Dazzle? But Cancel actually returns back to base, so it's going to be another little bit before they look to pressure anything. They still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds roughly on the Aegis, but it feels like that window is quickly closing for them. BKB picked up on Bone 7 though, and maybe this is the cue for them to get aggressive.
See the anti-mage as well over in the mid lane. He's going to be split pushing his best, just cutting creep waves even. I'm really not sure what Come With Me and Jawa are doing on this bottom lane. Like, they're kind of keeping the wave pushed out and doing something very similar to what we just saw in the top lane where PieCat and Sexy Bamboo were shoving that lane, but they can't even really take a decent fight since they don't have any lockdown between these two heroes. Now that Cancel has arrived, they have a chance, but they still don't have their Dazzle, who's very far away. They're going to actually land a Shackle onto Niqua. Fissure is going to slow down Cancel's attacks. Power Shot will land, but Tusk will stick up and will be just fine. Tusk kind of wounded, but Kaipi now with not the biggest window to actually push, and Buffney is actually not going to make any movement down here at all, so there will be no Dazzle for this fight. Bone 7, though, has a haste rune. He's going to charge right in. He's spotted, but he's going to get the jump in onto Bamboo. They lash him to a tree as well. He's going to fall immediately. LMA in the middle of this fight should not be here. He's going to get bumped back a little bit. Focus Fire is going to do quite a bit of damage, but not near lethal. PieCat, just in the midst of the middle of that fight, is going to take so much damage from the Black Cannon, I think. He will survive out of there with the blink out. Cancel getting a little bit too far out into the tier 4s. He's going to take some damage, but he has the Aegis. The Dazzle's still not coming. That was just a 4v5 fight in favor of Kaipi.
Yeah.
Now the tower is going to fall. They're going to lose their wolf. Oh, poor dog. Is going to be less damage. Cancel going to get popped by the Mana Void, but that's just the Aegis. Now the Anti-Mage's fight is significantly decreased, whereas Cancel still can blink in for those focus firing exchanges. He's going to get jumped by PieCat right now. BKB popping the Queen of Pain, but it's, again, not really helping her that much. LMAO going to try to go for Come With Me, but he doesn't have that finishing blow in the Mana Void. Jawa's going to take a pretty nice Sonic Wave over the top, but it's just not enough to bring him down. He's going to pop the BKB and continue on fighting. They lost the Ancient Apparition. Jump in, Echo Slam onto Jawa and Cancel both. They'll kill out the Gyrocopter. Wind Ranger, a little bit help from the Flame Break. Wind Run TP out. Looks like she will live. Come With Me. We'll try TP out and will also live. Kaipi getting away with a really, really good fight considering they did not have their Dazzle there, which is just so weird to me. He had so much time to walk down there.
They didn't get nearly enough off their first BKB charges, I felt. I just got the Earthshaker there, which was kind of they could have got that off without popping their BKB charges, but everyone really able to disengage pretty nicely from the Radiant side, and they stick around way too long. They don't get the melee racks. Bambo respawns and gets off a big Echo Slam, so I feel like that high ground should have gone a lot better. And yeah, as you mentioned, having 4 heroes is certainly not going to bode well for you, even with the Aegis. Cancel takes a little bit too much damage on his first life. Jump forward bot lane. Shackle going to be dodged by the Manta, and Cancel going to be backed off for now, but yeah. That is not a good sign for Kaipi, I feel. Just getting that tier 3, not getting any racks is out of it.
It could have been so much better for Kaipi if they had their Dazzle there. And again, he had so much time to walk down, but either way, 4 Clovers. They do lose the tower, but the fact that Melee Rax was the one to take the focus fire, both literally and figuratively, or I guess it was, literally in 2 ways with Wind Ranger and just everyone attacking it. The damage done is not really going to be there next time the push comes. Like already, it's regenerating very, very quickly, and Kaipi, they haven't made any sort of aggressive play without an Aegis thus far in this game, and with no Aegis right now, no Aegis anywhere close to being up again, it's probably just going to be sit back and farm time for them. And again, they will be getting pretty far ahead with this, or getting a little bit of farm with this, with the Wind Ranger going for a Daedalus, and the Gyrocopter has enough gold to complete up something soon. There it is, Butterfly, that's something. But yeah, it seems like they may just want to go for Brute Force, push down the bottom lane, but here's where the split push comes back into play for 4 Clovers. They're still on top lane, and they're still shoving it really hard.
Yeah, they're not quite as good at split pushing as they want to be at this point, as the Anti-Mage had to opt for a heart as opposed to something like a Butterfly, but still, of course, pretty scary force there all together. Queen of Pain and the Anti-Mage in the least will be together. It looks like they're not going to wait out this next Aegis, and after being kind of patient all game, Kaipi going to opt to be a little bit more forward, and don't know if this is exactly the right time. Top lane, they are going to catch the lasso onto PieCat. He gets there. The Orchid, though, and the Echo Slam onto Cancel, and the Dazzle, once again, not there in time. Bone 7 forced to pop his BKB will cancel out Bamboo's TP, so they should be able to find the return kill on at least the Earthshaker here, and he will tick down. But PieCat makes it out 1 for 1. Cancel going to be brought down. Certainly a favorable trade for the Radiant side, and they're split pushing all the meanwhile as well. Mid lane, no glyph available. LMAO going to pick up the last hit on that one and looks to man up here, but will back off as most of the lineup of Kaipi attends this mid lane. They're jumping back in though. Niqua has a Blink Dagger. Ice Blast going to fly through. If this is a good one, they maybe go in off the back of it. Chilling Effect going to hit onto 2. Impact lands onto the Undying, and it will back off Kaipi into their base. And this game's starting to feel like it's slipping very quickly out of the grasp of Kaipi.
10 to 27, Kaipi, they still have a little bit of a kill lead, and they may still think that they're ahead, but that's not really a good thing in all cases, and this might just be one of those cases. Pycat now finally has an item that I agree with in the Sheepstick. I think Shiva's Guard or Plate Mail item for Pycat would have been also pretty acceptable. Just protect yourself against the Gyrocopter and the Wind Ranger, both, for the most part, physical damage at this point. But the Queen of Pain's farm is whatever. She's going to be getting some items. It's really this Anti-Mage who's now fully ready to fight. Like, he probably just going to go for an Abyssal Blade or a Butterfly or something along those lines. Okay, it is going to be a Butterfly for LMAO. Then at that point, Kaipi, unless they do land a Shackle with initiation from the Batrider, I mean, they will really, really struggle to kill off this Anti-Mage. He's just so fat at this stage. Kaipi really needed to take Raxes on that bottom lane push from before, and because they haven't, they've lost a lot of their momentum, and they still just are really unwilling to go for an aggressive play without having an Aegis. And I guess that's the safest way to play, I suppose, but yeah, at a certain point, they have to like at least smoke up or something. They're going to find LMA over towards mid. Cancel, where is Cancel? He's all the way on the bottom lane, so good luck catching this Anti-Mage. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to catch the Anti-Mage, it's hard to catch Pycat, and for that reason, it feels like Kaipi are kind of being toyed with from the Radiant side. They're really being reactive in their movements as opposed to being dictating the tempo, and you mentioned it, I mean, Batrider is a hero that does not want to be having the tempo controlled by the other side. He wants to be doing it himself, so, I mean, I feel like this is the highest impact, furthest behind Wind Ranger I've ever seen in a pro matchup. It feels like Cancel is almost totally irrelevant. He only has 2 deaths all game. He's 7, 2, and 8, involved in 15 of the 27 kills, so over 50% of his team's kills, and yet kind of feels irrelevant in these team fights.
I think it's maybe because Cancel is just not behaving aggressive enough. Like, if he was actively looking for these pickoffs with the Batrider or with the Gyrocopter, like, you can get those kills super easily still. Like, he only has the Baby Crit and the Chrysalis, but still, if you land a Shackle Shot full duration, maybe you won't kill off the Anti-Mage, but rest assured you will kill off any other given hero. But for the most part, Kaipi, they've just been really scared about committing their Wind Ranger in that sense, and that's why she has a pretty good score. She hasn't been dying because she's really been avoiding these fights for the most part. It's not bad, but it's really not the type of gameplay you want to have on the Wind Ranger, and as you said, not on the Batrider either. Roshan is going to be respawning up very quickly. It was a close to minimum respawn timer. They're going to jump in towards Bambo, but Bone 7 fails to get the Shackle off, and now he's going to get hexed up and dropped. And, well, also will drop the gem. So, yeah, jumping in towards the Earthshaker who sees you coming. Not a great plan. Now Boofney is going to get jumped by LMAO. Nico's going to throw some shards. Will completely wall up the Dazzle. There's a Shackle Shot, but it'll be dodged again by the Mantis Style. LMAO is still taking no damage here, and they will take off the Dazzle at the very least. Fissure now on to come with me. Jumping for Pycat. Is going to land a dagger. There is no true set, but there it is. Triple dust. Okay, I think they see him. Come with me is going to land a Tombstone on the high ground. But that's not going to last for very long. Queen of Pain's going to blink up there, get them some vision, and get some gold for the team. That's 3 kills for 4 Clovers. They can go for Roshan, but why go for Roshan when they can go for high ground?
This could honestly be GG. They do find the Courier, the Radiant Courier on the backside, and it had a full Butterfly on it for the Anti-Mage, so that's kind of a nice win, but I feel like they lose a full lane of racks here. There's no buyback available, and yeah, they don't see the gem on the deck there, but still a very nice kill. Echo Slime having to be used by Bambo, but his reaction was perfect, and they don't get the lasso off, as you mentioned, and now easy lane of racks going their way. They push so quickly with this AM, especially once he gets this Butterfly. It's going to be even faster, so I mean, that's going to be on the sidelines for 2.5 minutes, but there's no response from Kaipi in the way of split push here. I mean, Bisa is just hitting like a wet noodle when you compare it in relativity to the push from the entire lineup of 4CNL. So Roshan now available to them as well, and there's no outer tier towers available in the mid or bottom lane, so should be an easy pick. There's no globals for Kaipi either to scout this out, or at least try and dissuade the Radiant from going for it. So huge win for 4CNL, and it feels like this game is so out of reach now. Glimmer Cape initiation will find Nico on the sidelines, but it's really not the pick that the Radiant care too much about, and they'll probably just look to back off and disengage here. The Shackle not even going to land onto EGM, and he tries to TP out on the high ground, will be successful in doing so, as the Shackle was already used. Fisher going to keep Cancel at bay as well. He power shots to look for vision. Bone 7 has no lasso, and everyone going to just disengage. Yeah, they're more than happy with just losing their Tusk there.
At one point in this game, Kaipi had a 10k plus gold lead, 12k plus experience, and threw all of that away. I mean, we've seen one, I think, ideal fight here from Kaipi. It was the fight on the bottom lane where they smoked in and 4 Clovers. And that was the one where they got the decent Echo Slam, decent Sonic Wave, but just didn't have enough afterwards. The difference between that fight and every other fight in this game was the fact that Bone 7 has not been able to initiate on the Anti-Mage except for that one fight. If he's able to do that, you land the Shackle. You don't have to deal with the Manta-style dodge or anything like that, and you actually have a chance of bringing him down and actually landing some crowd control effects. They have the Lasso of the Bat Rider as one of their crowd control effects and the Shackle Shot as the other. Aside from that, that's it. So this Anti-Mage is incredibly hard to pin down for the Kaipi side, and he's just been, running circles around them. Not to mention the fact that Queen of Pain does the exact same thing, now has a Refresher Orb up. So look at her item kit, that's all going to be doubled. Double power tread switch even if she wants to. But yeah, double sheep stick, like that in and of itself, if you land it properly on 2 heroes to start the fight, with Anti-Mage not getting hit with any form of crowd control effect, how do you lose that fight? It's a 5v3 for quite a long time.
Yeah, and now, I mean, Pikehat has been pretty easily killable all game if they wanted it, and now he's going to be a lot more difficult with that double BKB duration. Even a refresh blink, and use one to blink in aggressively, drop the ult, and refresh again and look to blink out. So Pikehat looking real good, and really all they need to do is disable one of these cores in the Gyro or the Wind Ranger, and LMAO should be able to easily do the work on his Anti-Mage. I mean, he's got 3,600 gold as well, so note that the Butterfly is completed on the Courier as well, so that's not going to go towards that Butterfly. It can go towards a Basher or something more aggressively natured like that. So LMAO and his squad in a really good position here for CNL. Probably just going to look to play this a little bit safe for a minute or two and then close it out as the Courier respawns. So this should be kind of the last stand for Kaipi over on their high ground. We'll see. We haven't seen them with a high ground advantage at all. And of course, Bat Rider, a hero who deals pretty well with high ground advantage. Undying, Gyrocopter as well. So we'll see if they're able to fight through it. There is no BKB on the Anti-Mage, but I mean, they should be able to create more than enough space, it feels, for him to pick off the back lines while they disable up the front. So yeah, it feels like Kaipi are going to be in a very perilous situation sooner than later here.
Now, the high ground defense, as you said, does offer Bone 7 with the greatest chance of being able to land a lasso on the Bat Rider, on the Anti-Mage rather. The problem is at this point is that their single target focus fire. I mean, the Gyrocopter is doing some okay damage, but really he wants to do damage to everyone at the same time. Not really so much a single target hero anymore. Wind Ranger has slowed down her item progression pretty much to a stop, and you would expect at this point for her to at least have this Daedalus completed, but doesn't even have the Demon Edge unless there's there's nothing on the Courier. So yeah, no Daedalus means that even if they do land the opening lasso on the Anti-Mage, there's far from a guarantee they get the kill. And now again is where we see the defensive power, the naturally good versus Bat Rider heroes on 4 Clover's side in the Shaker and the Tusk. Like if they jump in, grab the Anti-Mage, they're going to get fissured. They're going to have to deal with the Walrus Punch.
Yeah,
Bat Rider does have a
BKB,
BKB, but Walrus Punch cuts right through because it's just a punch. So there's no even guarantee that landing a lasso on the Anti-Mage will get a kill at this stage. Plus he has, a ridiculous amount of armor and health.
Yeah, I mean, BKB going to make Bone 7 feel safe, perhaps from the Hex, but yeah, you mentioned a Blink Walrus Punch is there still, so it's looking real grim for Kaipi at this point. Not having their Dazzle bot lane felt like a big misplay, and just kind of them overstaying their welcome in general really hurt. So down 1 Rax, down an Aegis, no outer tier structures. This looks to be the beginning of the end here. Hopefully we can get back underway and actually see that ending, but for now, Bisa DC'd, so hopefully he'll be able to jump back into this one. Has 4k gold on the Gyrocopter. Only 2,100 of that is in surplus to his buyback, though. So, yeah, he won't be able to pick up anything significant in terms of item progression before this next engagement. And Butterfly, BKB, Senj, and Yasha feels pretty soft at this point for the Gyrocopter. As you mentioned, he's a spread damage carry, so his single target even less impressive. And
at this point, you kind of need like a Satanic or MKB. Choose one, really. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, I guess on 4 Clover's side, their supports are still kind of light as well. I mean, the Dazzle's been performing, as we keep on saying, really well. The Undying is close to his Aghanim Scepter, but That, of course, means he doesn't have it. Ancient Apparition, he's on the bottom of the net worth chart, and well, I don't know how many games are won with an Ancient Apparition going 45+ minutes where he doesn't complete Nagams.
Yeah.
This might be one of those games because EGM has just not been getting jack for farm. But hey, as long as you land the Ice Blast, not going to be quite as good, obviously, but if you cancel out the heal from the Dazzle, from the Undying, get rid of that lifesteal from the Gyrocopter, you could still have a significant impact on this game.
Yeah, it still seems to be pretty effective, and maybe this is one of those games where you don't go for the Aghanim's Rush as opposed to the Midas. 45 minutes in, that would have helped him out quite a bit, but yeah, it looks like Bisa's loading in now, so we'll get this one back underway and look for the pressure to start mounting towards Kaipi's side with the Aegis in hand over on the Radiant.
The Shaker also has a Soul Booster, which probably isn't going to be turned into that Octarine by the time this game ends, because I'm not sure if Kaipi can handle his push, but it's just a lot of health on this guy now. He has 1800 HP, and it's not exactly Heart of Tarask Anti-Mage levels of health, but it still is going to be enough so that should they decide that the Shaker is the priority, and he's like a pretty easy target, usually they're not wrong, but in this game they will be. Pycat, he's going to start poking at the Raxes. And by that I mean taking tower shots and then blinking out. But yeah, Kaipi, Batrider, Bone 7, it's pretty much all you at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot on the Batrider, but there's a follow-up there as well. I mean, if they disable either the Gyro or the Wind Ranger with just like a Blink Walrus Punch, I don't know that they can bring down Evasion plus Heart on LMAO. 2,800 gold. Yeah, they're going to jump in on him. They're going to try and find him. And already the snowball is going to be channeled up. They're going to go in onto Bisa. He's glimmered up. He's going to BKB. They will be able to bring the LMAO very low, but not down just yet. Cancel. Chasing forward does find the Anti-Mage. And now on the other side, Pycat isolated as well. Pops his BKB. Is able to blink out. Will they be able to chase him down? They will not. They bring down Nikwa as well. So the high ground defense not completely respected from 4CNL. And the game swings a little bit in Kaipi's favor still, though. Buyback available on both of those heroes, and they're not going to be able to get any objectives off of this defense, but certainly at least helps for the team morale there.
Oh, for sure. Getting a ton of gold now for Cancel. That should be his Daedalus close to completion at this point. So, yeah, just focusing fire on that Anti-Mage. Turns out it is enough. The defensive response there, I mean, not there from the Shaker because of the BKB on the Batrider. Throwing out a Fissure does nothing. Tusk jumping in for a Snowball. It ultimately didn't do anything either. And, I mean, I don't really think there was a Sheep Stick. There was definitely no double. They're going to jump an Echo Slam onto Jawa. They're going to get the Sheep Stick, but now the Focus Fire onto Earthshake, who's pinned to a tree, will fall. Jawa's going to get graved up, and will fire his cannons into that Queen of Pain, though it seems like he'll shatter afterwards. They're going to handle the Queen of Pain again. Well, she's going to BKB and get out of there. Refresher Orb doing that job, and now Cancel's going to give chase. He's going to start trading hits with Pycat. He can't get the Focus Fire. It's taking so much damage right now. Finally gets the BKB and Focus Fire, pinning Pycat to a tree. That Focus Fire will just insta-kill the Queen of Pain. As Kaipi taking down 4 now heroes, as the Ancient Apparition also, for some reason, wandered in. So, yeah, rest in peace, Dreams of Aghanim Scepter. These heroes do have buyback, and Anti-Mage is going to be up soon, but Kaipi, they're definitely not out of it yet.
Yeah, very nice engagement from them. It'll be the full Daedalus, as you mentioned, for Cancel. Mid lane, they actually went to go back in when the Gyrocopter was ticking low, and both the Tusk hanging around alongside EGM. As Ancient Apparition, and Bone 7 actually finds a lasso on the AA. Him and the Undying are able to bring him down. Tusk able to make it out with the blink, but yeah, overall, not sure why they go back in for that Gyrocopter there. And once again, it's just good positioning from Buffney. He pretty much saves the game there, it feels. And they get a really nice turn. Of course, they're not able to bait out any buybacks. Neither side expending any buybacks there. So that's still a key factor in this one. Really, everyone has that buyback available. So maybe if we see the lasso used up and some of these cores on 4CNL get up some boots of travel, they jump right back in and look to finish the game.
There's still a cheese here on the 4 Clover side. Shaker may or may not hold on to that. Maybe he wants to give it to one of his harder hitting buddies, but still, that is an advantage that 4 Clovers still have after that last Roshan, who's not going to be respawning it now for a very, very long time. Looks like Wind Ranger is going to keep with the baby crit and is going to grab an MKB instead. Probably the correct move up against the evasion of the Anti-Mage. Don't mind this at all. You could always get a Daedalus later if you really want to complete that item. Either way, it gives you plus damage. That's really what the Wind Ranger wants. Kaipi, they've tested the high ground with Aegis and they've failed. Now 4 Clovers did the same thing. And that just means that there's no way in hell that either of these two teams are going to make a play without having that Aegis. And that, of course, is going to put that much more emphasis on this next Roshan. Another Aegis and another cheese. And whoever wins that fight, whoever actually walks away with those 2 resources, probably not going to instantly win the game, but will have the chance to win the game. They will be able to go ahead and be aggressive and push.
Speaking of aggressive, Bisa going to full-on buy out the MKB. Not going to have the buyback available. Still needs 1,500 gold if he's going to want that. So really going all in here is Kaipi's side, and they will have a little bit more firepower and a little bit of that single target right-click that they lacked in the previous engagements. Glimmer Cape initiation here from Bone 7. Not going to find anyone. We'll just clean up the wave for now. I got to kind of question the build from Bambo here in that Soul Booster. I feel like if he had a set of Greaves for that last fight, maybe they're able to keep up the anti-mage. If not, him going in for that Echo Slam, at least in mid lane, would have been able to keep himself up as that Grave expired on the Gyro and he dies off. So I feel like maybe the Greaves would have been a little bit more helpful here, but I mean, either way, slight advantage to Kaipi in that sense, having their set on Come With Me.
And once Octarine comes up, I mean, that's a pretty big item on Earthshaker. Spell Vamp is whatever, and it's probably not going to be a huge tool, but that cooldown reduction on the stuns, which, I mean, Enchanted Home already has a 5-second cooldown, which is very low, so you get Spamble Stun there. Fissure having a dramatically reduced cooldown. It is a good item if they expect this game to continue onwards, and given the pace of it, given the fact that neither team has been successful in going up the high ground, it seems like this game might just go the distance. In which case, gotta look towards the 6-slot status. Anti-Mage has filled up his inventory with really high-ticket items. I don't think you sell any of these items, with the exception being Power Treads for travels down the line. Moon Shards, of course, later as well, but this Anti-Mage is pretty much done farming at this point.
Yeah.
And if he drops, he needs to have buyback at all times. He does have it right now. Kaipi looking for him will unfortunately go the wrong direction, but Anti-Mage is not really going to be getting any stronger here, so that's great for Kaipi. They don't really have to worry about an Anti-Mage that's that much bigger, as they still have a little bit of room to grow on their heroes.
Yeah, with the BKBs, still at 7 seconds and 7 seconds both on Bisa and Cancel. Feels like Pycat's kind of a little bit underwhelming with his item build. Doesn't really have any right-click to his name, and both those cores I just mentioned on Kaipi have the MKBs available now, so Anti-Mage certainly not immortal despite being 6-slotted, and a little bit of a higher ceiling for Kaipi in terms of item progression right now, considering the direction that Pycat's gone with his build. As these BKBs start to dwindle in duration for Kaipi, he will definitely feel a little bit more effective, but at this point, feels like they could use a little more firepower on the Radiant side.
Ooh. Thinking about going in, they're smoked up. They had the perfect jump if they wanted it.
They probably should have, yeah.
Yeah, I think they probably could have gotten away with at least one of those kills. Probably even 2, but they're just going to play the conservative role. You never know who's right behind them, right? And I could have just overcommitted you a little bit too much.
I mean, the Dazzle was there, though. Yeah. And if the Dazzle is present, you probably find a kill without Grave. So you get the jump before that BKB gets off from Cancel. I think you're able to bring them down. But yeah, conservative play at this point. And they know that Roshan should be up soon. And you can see Nico standing in the pit right there. So perhaps that's the reason they don't want to take a bad engagement. Don't want to have to buy back just for a contest on Roshan. So understandable, but certainly from our perspective, seems like they could have got a significant chunk done there.
There are, not a ton of buybacks here. You would expect everyone and their mom to have buybacks in this particular game, but the Gyrocopter, he is, doing pretty well to get that gold, but still doesn't quite have enough. None on the Undying. Buffney actually has quite a bit of gold. Ooh, Point Booster, Dazzle. This is something we don't get to see all the time because Dazzles usually are dying a hell of a lot more than twice.
He's got 2,500 gold as well.
Aghanim Scepter on Dazzle is actually real legit. Like, you get so much more armor. Or minus armor.
Top lane. Glyph going to be forced out by LMAO. And reaction is there from Come With Me. This is exactly what you want to do if you're the Radiant side to kind of open up Roshan. And the Icy Vortex, or Ice Vortex, will be able to scout out, presumably here, very soon. That Rosh is up. The Dire Courier, though, serving the same purpose.
They already lost the Dire Courier, scouting the Rosh. This one will be successful, and it will probably get back to base. And it will, but Kaipi, they gotta go right now. Anti-Mage's damage is no joke. And this Roshan is going to drop super quickly. This is where Batrider becomes one of the best heroes in the game. Being able to initiate over a cliff. Cat is in a pretty good position right now to get vision, but they're going to jump in with Bone 7. He's going to look for Nikwa. He grabs this Tusk. Not really the hero that he wants, but they will be able to kill him off regardless of that fact. Now weave onto the Anti-Mage. In the meantime, off to the side, they caught Cat with the Shackle cancel. Is going to bring him down immediately. That's a 2-kill for Kaipi, looking for a third as Bambo does have the cheese, but he really doesn't want to use it now. He's going to Echo Slam cancel with the Ice Blast coming in. They'll bring down the Wind Ranger. Double buybacks now as everyone for Clovers is just going to abandon the chase there and just look for the buildings instead. Tower is going to fall to the Anti-Mage, and now he's going to go for range, but here comes Cancel. Will force away the Anti-Mage. Still, Range Rax is taking some serious fire right now. Everyone is alive, so essentially no kills traded, but still, that's 2 buybacks out from 4 Clovers. On the Queen of Pain especially, that's costly. But same thing can be said about this Wind Ranger. If Cancel dies again, that may just be it, and everyone 4 Clovers is going to go right back into the Roche pit. They just went circles around Kaipi. They're going to kill off Roshan. Can they grab the Aegis in time? They will. Now Kothpi's going to walk right into a stun. Cat, well, he's going to get 1 kill, and he's going to go now for Cancel, who's sheeped up. Ice Blast coming in. She's chilled, and she will shatter. Jawa's going to come in. Can he clean this all up by himself? He has some backup here in Bone 7 to come with me. He's going to fight up against the Anti-Mage, though, not doing fantastically. They're going to get the lasso right on him at the final second before he's able to blink out. Anti-Mage down with buyback, however. Anti-Mage is going to buy out. They want to end this game right now. Where did the Aegis actually end up? It is on the Queen of Pain. Cheese on EGM. So 4 Clovers, this is their best chance. They know that Wind Ranger's dead for good for 90 seconds.
Yeah, so the big difference in that first engagement, they 2-on-1 the Wind Ranger, but they're not able to burst her enough. She gets the BKB off, turns, kills off Cat. This engagement, no BKB. And as I mentioned, Cat's build feels a lot more potent when there aren't BKBs around than when there are. So Cancel just dies off. They're going to find the Hex onto Bone 7 mid lane. Glimmer Cape keeps him safe for now. Call Down going to jump out. They're going to see a blink out from the Anti-Mage, and the Ice Blast going to come through, connect onto Bisa. So Jawa going to have to back off there. And this is going to open up the door for this tier 3 top lanes. Hex not available for 15 seconds for Cat. They do bring down the tier 3. And the homing missile will at least connect into Cat to delay things out. 50 seconds still on the sideline for the Wind Ranger. Come with me, goes for a big decay, but he's in a lot of trouble right now. They're going to force out the Grave now. BKB going to have to be popped by Bone 7. They get the lasso off onto the Anti-Mage. He's down. That's a dieback. LMAO on the sidelines, 120 seconds. Once again, the Bat Rider showing his prowess with that high ground advantage, and LMAO feeling a little bit too cocky there. Aegis not in his pockets, in the pockets of the Queen of Pain. She has the Hex on cooldown for just another couple seconds at that point. And with the Glimmer Cape keeping Bone 7 safe, they're able to bring down the Anti-Mage, and now, perhaps with the respawn of their Wind Ranger, they go to high ground themselves.
I really don't know why 4 Clovers go up towards the top lane and go through a tier 3 when there's mid-Raxes to be taken. Like, look at these buildings. They're not exactly in great shape right now. They could have at least claimed that and taken a permanent advantage. At this point, losing a tier 3 for Kaipi is whatever. They don't really care about that. It's just a little bit more gold for 4 Clovers. Again, that's not really going to be super significant. Now the crackback from Kaipi is going to come in, and we've said it so many times, but I'm going to say it again at least. The Grave from Dazzles have been absolutely on point. No one for 4 Clovers able to get in on top of Bufni. That's where you would expect the Earthshaker to make that play or the Tusk to make that play. Not going to happen. And now he has the Aghanim's Weave. So Anti-Mage, though he is doing a hell of a lot of damage, is going to be doing a lot less. And Come With Me stealing a hell of a lot of strength there as well. This is maybe a situation where you want to have the old Aghanim Scepter on Dying to get amplification onto Cancel's damage, onto Jawa's damage, but, you know, that's fine. As long as he's bulky on the front lines, he'll be doing his job. Here comes the Ice. It's going to land onto 2. It is Aghanim at this point, but it's not going to dissuade Kaipi from going up to this high ground. They may want to slide down to the bottom lane, but they're going to weave up first. But Bone 7 up in the air. They see Nikwa a little bit too far away to get initiation off. Fissure, okay, that's there. Now the fortification, it's going to have to be popped. Blink in, Echo Slam onto a whole bunch, but he immediately gets grabbed with the lasso. Sonic Wave is not going to kill off Cancel, nor Come With Me, who's going to get Grave dumped. Cancel pops the BKB. Nikwa's going to fall. Queen of Pain is going to revive shortly with the Aegis. Buyback from the Shaker. I don't think they will be able to kill off Cat again. He's going to Sheep Stick now onto Jawa, but there is a Dazzle right there with the Grave in 1 second. Jawa force staffed out. Soul Ripped Up is going to survive. Cat with the Focus Fire is going to blink out of there, albeit barely. Right clicks onto the Earthshaker. It's not going to be enough. Shatter range. No one's in it, even though they all get hit with the Ice Blast. Anti-Mage, though, is up. That was a costly defense for 4 Clovers. Can they get anyone in the retreat? They'll find Come With Me, who has the gem, so he should be falling here unless he has the sickest of jukes. The running in the straight line juke, not going to work out. LMAO is going to find him, and just a couple of right clicks will kill off the Undying, who does have a buyback. And the gem is going to be grabbed by the Shaker, but that was the Echo Slam that 4 Clovers needed to hold their base, and they don't actually lose that much here. Tier 3, again, not a big deal for 4 Clovers to lose, and still it's anyone's game.
Yeah, so Gem gonna be real nice up against the Glimmer Cape as well in this next engagement, which has saved Bone 7 in the last couple of engagements. So they get a tier 3, don't get quite enough there. They only lose an Undying though, so it's okay. They can still make a high ground defense. And 4CNL still need to be careful. 3 minutes on the buyback on the NMH, 2 minutes on the buyback on the Queen of Pain right now. So if either of those two die, still feels like Kaipi can turn this and look to go mid, if not game.
This is such a delicate situation right now. Again, Batrider is going to be at the premium for Kaipi. Wind Ranger's Shackle Shot's pretty much the same thing. They're going to be able to slow siege with these illusions from Anti-Mage, and well, they don't really want to focus fire them, although I think shackling them is probably necessary at this point for Cancel, just to make sure that they don't slowly but surely lose these range axes. Again, not the biggest objective, but you know, getting 4 Clovers that much closer to Megas, which again isn't necessarily going to instantly win them the game, but it sure as hell is going to help. Batrider is going to grab the Aghanim Scepter. I've only seen this once before up against an IO Tiny combo, and that worked like magic. This one, I'm not really sure if he's able to actually latch multiple heroes, but if he does, man, that essentially doubles the amount of crowd control that Kaipi have.
Yeah, they will have a little bit of split push to their name as well with that full second level Boots of Travel offered up to the Gyrocopter, of course, with the Flat Cannon. He's definitely one of those heroes on the Dire side with the propensity to be able to defend base all by his lonesome, and Cancel gonna jump forward with Bone 7, looking for something here. Dire Observer Ward not gonna net them anything in that bottom hemisphere of the map, and everyone playing pretty safe from the Radiant side. So it looks like they won't be fruitful with this smoke, but mid lane, the wave's too far back.
Okay, you don't expect this positioning. Okay, you don't expect Cancel to jump in and kill off an Observer Ward either in your base and then leave. He doesn't have travels, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be punished. But the rest of the heroes, oh, they're in not the best position, but again, not a punishable one. Obviously, the mission there wasn't to kill off the ward, but whatever, man. You jump in, go deep into the enemy base, de-ward, the value.
And, of course, the de-ward immediately thereafter from EGM, so mission success from the Dire, I suppose. But either way, 2 minutes till the minimum Roche respawn. I feel like it was a 1 minute beyond that when the clock showed. Not 100% sure on that, but the key is now that the Radiant buybacks are cooling down here. Pycat has his available in 400 gold. The cooldown is up. The Anti-Mage needs 120 gold plus 50 seconds, so they will be able to get a little bit more overzealous in their next engagement and be able to rely on the fact that their buybacks are in their pockets. So top lane, once again, we're going to see Bisa mounting the defense pretty much by his lonesome. And Kaipi can't afford to do this at this point with him having that second level Boots of Travel. So going to try and keep the waves pushed out with Bone 7. Looks like they're pretty aware of the positioning of the Radiant side at this point. Bone 7 feeling pretty safe out there in lane. But now they will reassemble towards top lane. Radiant Observer Wards on the cliff will scout out their entire lineup, but should be dewarded here shortly. And they will be able to take out the Observer and the Sentry.
This Gyrocopter needs a Satanic so badly right now. His BKB is down at 5 seconds. If that was still at 10 seconds, you might be able to get away without Satanic. And yeah, Ice Blast is on the other end, so you don't really want to put too much stock into it. But still, this Gyrocopter needs to survive. He needs to be able to just trade hits with the Anti-Mage for as long as possible. Get multiple Rocket Barrages out. He needs to just survive as long as possible. Either that or just replace the Sanjin Yasha, upgrade it to the Scotty or something like that. He's holding on to a hell of a lot of gold. 3600 surplus isn't enough to buy anything that's huge, but he needs to spend that gold.
He needs 800 still for this full Satanic, and Buffney not going to be able to defend against these illusions top, so Bisa going to have to return to base there. Slowly trickling in the waves should give him enough farm here, but we'll see if 4CNL are willing to delay out that long. Roshan going to respawn right now, and they're going to be the first to scout it, although there's a Cardi here from the Dire side. So both sides going to be able to scout it once again, and immediate reactions coming out from the Dire. They still have the second level Boots of Travel in 10 seconds to D-up the base, but they'll probably lose their range racks to illusions eventually alongside LMAO if they really commit hard to this Roche.
Back protection turns off. Buffney is here, but he can't, again, really do anything except for throw a couple of shadow waves and hope that's enough. So it is 4CNL with a little bit more control over the top lane, therefore a little bit more control over the Roche pit. Come with me. He's going deep. He's going to pop the Flesh Golem right now. They're going to grab Nikwa again, and it seems like, again, this Tusk might fall before anything else, but Cancel, he's going to get sheeped up. Double Sonic Wave, not quite going to kill him off. With the BKB there, he's going to try to run away, but he finally will drop to the Walrus Punch. Where's the Gyrocopter in all this? Pycat now going to pop a secondary BKB. Now has Boofney caught in the shards. Come with me. He's going to land the Soul Rip as Wind Ranger does buy back. Where's this Gyrocopter? He's defending up towards top lane. Kaipi, they lost the buyback on the Wind Ranger. They gain very, very little. At least the Roshan is still alive for them. 4 Clovers didn't take that as well, but 4 Clovers, they really don't do that much, but they end up getting a free buyback of the Wind Ranger. Now they can slow roll for a little while longer, knowing that if they kill her off again, that's another chance to end the game.
And they got such a fortunate timing on their initiation too. Right before they jump in, Bambo blinks to the west, gets hit by Roshan, so doesn't have his blink counter initiation available. They get the lasso off, drag back the Tusk, but just no follow-up without the Gyrocopter there, and Cancel immediately hexed up by Pycat. So they have no damage, and as you mentioned, him able to get off that punch through the BKB helps out. Hansel going to jump into the pit. He's going to be scouted by the Sigil, and they're going to try and take us out real quick. Willing to lose their top racks for it, it seems. Bones having to pop his BKB, has the lasso available, will be able to catch it onto the right anti-mage, and tries to drag him to the low ground, won't be able to do so just yet. So they lose their melee racks. Meanwhile, a fight breaking out by the Roche pit. Pycat getting low, the call down, going to connect onto Nikwa. He's in a lot of trouble, tries to bring down that Roche, won't be able to do so. Ice Blast going to fly through, but the sustain is there already. Cancel now did not have buyback. Will be able to pick up the Aegis, but the Mega Creep's going to be secured by LMAO in the meantime.
Yeah, Nikwa making the valiant sacrifice, the distraction sacrifice, so that no one from Kaipi would really be willing to leave this Roche pit because there's a fight there, but they have to. They have to deal with this anti-mage who just took down all of the structures of Kaipi. And for 4 Clovers, again, Mega Creep's not exactly going to mean instantly winning the game, but only losing the Tusk there, having the buyback on the anti-mage and the Queen of Pain and the Shaker, like, they can defend this like final kind of desperation push from Kaipi. They really have to go for this, I feel, but at the same time, with Cancel trying to defend, this Wind Ranger is not exactly the best at defending up against these Mega Creeps. Same thing we've seen already from the Dazzle. He can't really do it, nor can Bone 7. It's really only the Gyrocopter who can clear out these Megas, and 4 Clovers at this point can even still split push. Like, they have the level 2 travels on the Anti-Mage, so he can bounce wherever he wants to. There's one more attack, I think, in the arsenal for Kaipi. They're going to all buy out on travels. They're going to go all in. And all in is going to have to go probably skip the Raxes into tier 4s. I mean, there's a tier 2 on top lane, so they can't equalize it with Megas of their own. They have to go for the Ancient.
Yeah, the anti-mage is going to be lassoed by one time by Bone 7, but I still feel like he pushes quicker here than the Radiant side do. They're going to pop the Weave. The Glyph is already going to pop by the Radiant, and anti-mage beating away at the towers alongside Bambo. He's going to get a free tier 4, 2 tier 4s. The Glyph now exposed, and Bone 7 is gone. GG.
That's it. Yeah, he teleported into the Radiant base. 19-42.
What?
Usually it's going to be pretty clear who wins at that point with that kill score, but 4 Clovers with a little bit of rat action.
My eyes. What happened at the end? My eyes, but yeah.
Not like this.
Kaipi feels bad, man. It was a really valiant attempt, and after having an early game lead, they fell really behind in that late mid game to early late game, and were able to put up some very nice high ground defenses. But yeah, it just feels like perhaps a little bit of a misstep at the end, and their all-in doesn't pay off.
Well, 4 Clovers are going to claim victory. They were the slight favorites going into this, but after this game, not really sure how people feel about that. They have, regardless of that fact, chalked themselves up 1 point. This is a best of 2, and if they win again, they're going to be getting 2 additional points. Kaipi just want 1 point by winning the next game. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by mrpdota. It's been a pleasure casting this game for you guys. Next game coming up very shortly, so don't go anywhere. Game 2 between 4 Clovers and Kaipi is going to be coming up next.